Lindy Harding, a woman from Ledbury, England, survived falling 8,500 feet straight to the ground in a skydiving accident. When she pulled her parachute cord, it failed to open. But when the reserve canopy opened, so too did the main parachute. With both parachutes twisting above her in the wind, she hurtled through the air for 40 seconds at speeds of about 70 miles per hour before crashing to the ground. Amazingly, Lindy only sustained 2 fractured ribs, a punctured lung, a broken nose, and a chipped tooth. She remembers the doctors looking at her in disbelief. In 2008, 7 years after the accident, Lindy was able to muster enough confidence to make another jump. In 2003, construction worker Ron Hunt fell face first onto an 18-inch auger drill bit. Ron was working on top of a ladder, drilling something overhead. Moments later, the ladder started to wobble. Following safety procedures, he tossed the drill down when he realized he was falling. As he plummeted toward the ground, he landed right on top of the drill that just happened to be sitting in an upright position. The auger bit went straight through his skull. Doctors say that the drill penetrated his eye socket and pushed his brain to the side rather than through it. They decided to just unscrew the drill bit from his head instead of surgically removing it. Ron's friends call him Miracle Man. In early 2014, a 56-year-old woman and her grandson were both ran over by a car while walking down the street in Anápolis, Brazil. Security footage of the incident shows 2 cars slamming into each other up the street from where they were walking. One of the vehicles was sent barreling into a parked car, causing it to collide with the woman and child. The woman's head hit the concrete and knocked her out cold before the car ran over her legs and lower back. The unbelievable CCTV footage also shows the car's tires running completely over the child's head. A split second later, he jumps to his feet and rushes over to check on his grandma. After being completely crushed by the car, the 5-year-old resiliently bounces up as if nothing ever happened. As gruesome as the accident appears to be, both manage to walk away with only minor bruises. Young lady Alexis Goggins is known as a hero in her hometown and around the world. In 2007, when she was only 7 years old, she jumped in front of a hail of bullets in order to save her mother from death. Alexis and her mom, Selitha, were kidnapped by her ex-boyfriend, who forced them into a car and began driving to a secluded area. When Selitha tried to get out of the car for help, he cocked his gun. Alexis screamed, "Don't hurt my mom," as she jumped in front of her mother to try to shield her from gunfire. The gunman, Calvin Tilley, started shooting anyway, firing about 12 shots at the girl and mother, trying to kill both of them at the same time. Selitha was shot in the head and arm, while Alexis was shot in the eye, left temple, chin, cheek, chest, and arm. Miraculously, both the mother and the daughter survived the attempted murder. Calvin Tilley is currently serving 60 years in prison. South African soccer player Rui Mahumutsa survived an accident that probably should have taken his life. Mahumutsa, who plays for Johannesburg's Orlando Pirates, was out driving when his car slipped on a wet patch of road. This caused him to lose control of his vehicle as he crashed into a guardrail on the side of the road. Like a shish kebab, the guardrail pierced the rear of his car and penetrated through the entire vehicle, exiting through the windscreen. Shocking photos taken of the scene show his white BMW 3 Series completely impaled. Many say that it is a miracle that he walked away from the accident with only minor injuries. A businessman and amateur race car driver from Thailand crashed his $300,000 Lamborghini Gallardo and subsequently split it in half. 40-year-old Pitak Ryangshima said he was traveling at about 94 miles per hour in heavy rain around a curve of road. That's when he lost control of his vehicle as it flew through the air and smashed into a tree, splitting the car into 2 sections, front and back. Amazingly, the driver walked away from the crash without a scratch. Moments after the incident, Pitak was standing next to the wreckage, holding an umbrella and gabbing away on his cell phone as if nothing had ever happened. He was virtually unscathed. The man attributes his survival to a Buddhist amulet that he was wearing at the time. Washington native Caleb Whitby was found alive and unharmed, smashed between 2 semi-trucks. While driving on a foggy, icy highway going through Oregon, he saw a semi-truck trailer in front of him start to sway. He downshifted, tapped his brakes, and felt his truck slip on the black ice underneath him. He aimed for the back of the trailer as he lost control. When he looked to his right, he saw another truck trailer sliding toward him. His vehicle was sandwiched in between the two trailers like a crushed soda can. In an interview, he said, "It was just metal crunching and glass. It was just all fast and loud." Amazingly, Caleb was cushioned inside of the cab of his truck like a cocoon, protecting him from harm. He was pulled to safety by other passengers and only sustained an injury to his left eyebrow and a scratch on his right hand. Many people believe that Ahad Israfil had a guardian angel watching over him back in 1987. Ahad sustained a gunshot to the head that blew off a massive portion of his brain. When he was 14, Ahad was working at a local convenience store in his hometown of Dayton, Ohio. His employer accidentally dropped a gun and shot the top of Ahad's skull, blowing off most of his right hemisphere. He started convulsing on the floor from blood loss and shock. Paramedics rushed him to a nearby hospital, and after a 5-hour operation, he awoke and even tried to speak. His own mother described his head looking like a deflated basketball. Years later, a plastic surgeon constructed a hard silicone implant and filled the cavity of his cranium. The surgeon pulled the skin over it to give him a somewhat normal-looking head. The now 42-year-old man with only half a brain went on to graduate with honors from his local university.